Been there, rock that.
You.
We have Kima. We have Robbie, Prance, and Stilo. Prance is in the Flatbush corner. He needs to stay there, too.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Time out.
Kima, how was your week?
The week is good. Celebrated my 23rd birthday.
Yes.
23rd birthday.
23rd.
And definitely a tourist. I share a birthday with James Brown.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Nikolai Machiavelli.
Oh,
Yeah. I share a birthday with some great people, so it's a good thing.
and shout out to Jason. He's actually recording visually this podcast.
Yes,
Hopefully,
sir.
hopefully he'll come back
Blessings.
after he see all the nonsense that's going to go on.
We might have scared him off already.
So, welcome,
We've been on
Jason.
a best
Thank you,
behavior.
Jason, for coming.
Bienvenido de volta. Robbie,
Yes.
how was your week?
It was cool. The highlight was definitely the Mayhem Loren Rock Marciano show, Highline Ballroom. Shout out to Dallas Penn for hosting. A lot of greats came out. Action Bronson, Alchemist, Big Body came out. Busta Rhymes came out. West Side Gun. So super dope show. Rock's one of the greats, and to see him live is always a pleasure. So
Top 5, as Buster said. Top
five ever MCs. So that's hard to dispute. I don't know. He's got quite a catalog. If you're not familiar, you should get familiar.
Oh, very familiar.
Prance,
Yes, sir.
in the Flatbush corner.
Yes. Prince
How was your week?
Yeah, it was great. It was a blessing. I was at the Rock show
In the cut with
Robbie.
me.
Yeah. And my man Safe Flow.
Shout to Safe.
Nims was over
What's up,
there
Safe?
chilling with us. Shout out to Coney Island. You know what I mean? He observed a great show.
Gorilla.
Other than that, shout out to my OG, B Bob Lowe. It was his
B-Bob.
birthday too,
Oh,
2
yeah,
L's.
shout out
Happy
to
born.
Bob.
No doubt. So both of my OGs, Crayola and B-Bob, birthdays around the same time.
23
so that's
years
a
old.
blessing that we're still friends after
that's
so much years of,
23.
seeing a lot of ups and downs through this movement. It's a blessing to have her in our camp of Been There, Rock That,
It's
the
a-
conversation
Yes,
with
sir.
style.
It's a lot of 23-year-olds I see. Stilo, how was your week?
Cool. I think I'm the one with the long story
Yeah,
this
go
week.
ahead.
Yeah, man.
ahead.
Feeling better. Was out for a little bit. Actually want to make a kind of like a announcement of health today.
Yes.
That is very important. We take good care of ourselves and in this day and time with our health. I went through a little hypertension situation where, I had a little uncontrolled hypertension. Kind of took me out the loop for a little bit, but realizing the stress of this world can weigh a lot on you. And if you don't take the time for yourself to take care of yourself, you can lose yourself.
True indeed.
So with that being said, I like to share with everyone, definitely take the time to see your doctors, keep up on yourselves, check your pressure. Cardio issues is a major issue amongst the community, especially African-American people. Stress, eating habits, work, lifestyle can really do a lot to you. I've done it all, and I'm kind of paying for the price, but I'm in the process of recharging. So all is well. I got a lot of life to live, a lot of fly to be out there to do.
Godspeed.
And we out here working, as me and Prance be saying.
Definitely. Wow.
And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see everyone. Miss you guys.
Good to have you back, Steve.
Happy to
Aw.
see you too. Happy to see you doing
Little
better.
sentimental
Pookie.
moment.
And just to piggyback off of Stilo, definitely health is wealth.
Absolutely.
And definitely if you need to, change your diet, change your exercise plans, whatever, and do what you got to do just to live longer and be able to hear this Been There, Rock That.
And find a way to relieve your stresses of life. Because a lot of the times, you
Like you should live long enough just to hear Been There Rock That.
well,
facts.
Been There, Rock That has been my my stress reliever. I come here to laugh, build, get ideas, and talk about what we love: style, fashion, things we've done and did. No, I guess that's the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Culture.
I'm happy to be here. Been talking about Willie Esco for a minute. I'm excited to have this conversation. Thank you, Willie, for being here.
My pleasure.
Pirate.
Look at you guys.
Pirate,
he's
pirate,
supposed to
pirate.
introduce
I didn't even introduce him, motherfucker.
Well, listen.
Just like the second week in a row.
Gonna edit that.
First it was Flatbush over there.
Yes, sir.
He was like, "Oh, and we're gonna do that," and just introduced everybody, which it was dope. So I guess Stilo did it this time. So
We didn't even hear about your week last week.
What you do?
I didn't do anything. I just did what I usually do, just be all around. And I did actually work with Rock Marciano's management team for the show that you went to.
How was it?
Salute to
So-
Jazz.
How was that?
Well, for me, it was a lot of work because I was actually working.
Like, what did
I
you
couldn't-
do?
He was
I just-
running
I
around
was
like a
running around,
madman.
like-
So
That's
you were
what I
the
heard.
assistant? What did you
Making
do?
sure everybody was good, making sure the artist was coming in, just a whole bunch of stuff, behind the scenes stuff that you have to do to
Okay.
make these shows. Shout out to Jazz.
Yes, definitely.
It was a great show. If you know who Rock Marciano is, you should
Yes,
know
we
by
do.
now.
Hard
Great
on.
artist, top 5. Busta said it, so
Easy.
it is
Gotta
what it is.
respect that.
Easy.
But other than that, I do have sinuses, so I'm kind of fucked up right now. But hey, I'm still here.
Awesome.
Now, so as you know, Willie Esco
Sorry.
is here. He's a pioneer in the hip hop fashion world. He's launched brands. He's been creative director to some brands you know about. He did the Low Life brand recently. He's done a lot of stuff.
A lot.
So welcome. He also did Coogee. I love Coogee, so I had to throw that in there.
Ah.
Creative director at Coogee. So Willie Esco, welcome. Been there, rock that.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank
So,
you.
what's new, brother?
Pleasure to be here. I've been watching you guys launch this platform. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Monitoring everything is really interesting. And how we have this platform to talk is I really do appreciate the platforms to talk about fashion. And they're not enough out there.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
what
because that sounds like you're gonna reach a lot more people
Yeah,
by just saying, saying they can hear your story and hear what you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So like, what are you working on right now?
I'm working on a lot of things. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's a
I
loaded
always-
question.
Yeah, that's a loaded. I was a millennial back in the '90s. Like I had to just do multiple. I wanted to do more than one brand, always.
Mhm.
There's
Got
no-
it.
it was this sort of vibe that I want to do multiple things at the same time because in our markets, I mean, I was born and raised in Newark, so I've seen hip hop start. I come out of disco, so I have 2 sisters that are older than me, and I loved watching the transformation from disco into hip hop, and how it was a beautiful thing to witness, and I understood my place in time. We're all in this place in time, sort of stuck in this space where we're living a certain amount of years, and I knew that, wow, this hip hop thing's special, right? And then I love basketball. I love looking at people wearing clothing. I love the lifestyle, but I knew it was a lifestyle before it was a lifestyle. So I knew that looking at how people wore stuff was really intriguing to me, and I knew that it fell into sort of a tribalism. So I also felt like I want to hit these tribes and do my work in each one of these tribes, and really sit back and be neutral, brand neutral, and sort of help all the brands if I can. But it's just a weird way of the way I look at things. And early on, I just sort of saw the birth of fashion in the hip hop culture, and it's like, wow, I'm lucky because I know the history of fashion and how it's come along to this point. And I've witnessed now someone like Virgil do what he did because of what we've done. It's a beautiful,
Yeah,
like, it's a
definitely,
really
definitely.
beautiful thing. Like, and that's. So when you ask what I'm doing multiple things, and it's all done with organic point of view. Has a reason, right? So we talk about hip hop is what I'm born and raised on. I'm more of a Jersey house head.
Oh.
So
Well, you say you were born and you was raised in Newark.
yeah, raised in Newark. So I'm from Zanzibar days. I'm
Oh.
from
Zanzibar.
Sensations. You
Yes.
know, all these clubs that really formed my how I listened to music, and hip hop was part of it. It's just a balanced approach of everything, and I needed soul in a lot of my hip hop. Like I just didn't need, hit songs. I needed soul in the hip hop
Soul,
for
essence.
me to be attracted to it. So my point of view is unique. It's from a 6-borough point of view. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm not from Staten Island. It's just I was always like that for me.
Right.
It was like, I got to make some noise. I'm from Newark. Like, it's like nobody knows where it is. But when they do visit, they were, not liking the spot. It's kind of as bad as every other place in New York.
Yeah.
So my point of view for fashion is like I like to do multiple things. And what's on my plate right now is my standard artistic point of view on denim is a brand called Gene Therapy, which is really, like we started talking about, is a very conceptual thing. Right? And it's my personal art form on the canvas of denim, right? Coogee is my current day-to-day sort of maintenance of a brand that I'm trying to grow from out of sweaters now into cut and sew, but I don't want it to be what it was before. So it's
You
like,
want to re-innovate it.
yeah, I have to re-innovate it, but knowing that once you go down that road, it ends up being, so I know my time there will be short. I'll show them how to make the money outside of sweaters, and then they'll run off to the races. But that leads me to my statement, which is I like to do shit that I own. I like to own. Like,
Yeah, we were talking about that.
and in the early days of hip hop, if you'd have to sell off the deed to your brand to make money. I certainly did that with my brand, Esco. I'm not ashamed to say anything like that because I knew when I was signing it, I was like, I will figure out a way to hustle to do other things. And I knew that hip hop was disposable. We grew. It's a young man's sport. I did not believe the hip hop culture in that form of fashion would stay forever. We'd stay there 10, 15 years, and then the next generation would say, I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to wear that. So my point of view on fashion was like, do multiple things. The Coogee's another one. I relaunched Coogee in 2004 out of bankruptcy. Simultaneously, this sort of point of view on fashion was I need to own stuff. Coming out of dealing with my situation with Nas, very interesting. So my own brand was sort of falling apart. And it's, again, I say that and I enjoy the beauty of it falling apart. Like I enjoy understanding that this is going to end. So this is what's happening with my brand.
Right.
It will happen to Sean John. It's going to happen to FUBU. It's going to happen to Fat Farm. Like, it may not be happening to them at that moment, but I'm a student of fashion. So I was like, so my relationship with, doing something with Nas on my own brand sort of was, 5-6 year thing. But I went into it telling my business partners it'll be a 5-6 year thing. And they're like, why? LL's cool with FUBU.
But you really believe that? You didn't see it like
No,
furthering?
I didn't.
He foreseen it.
I knew.
What did you actually do for the audience of working with Nas?
Well, when we're going to take a little pit stop, we're talking about Coogee. Now we're talking about my first brand that I came into the marketplace was Willie Esco.
Esco.
I went to school. I went to FIT, and I had been working in fashion for 10 years. So my experience is extensive, and I can actually drape whatever it is I was doing. I could sketch it. I could do graphic arts for it. So when I started seeing my sister April Walker do her thing, I started seeing Shabazz Brothers. I started seeing anybody and their mama getting a brand called Kanai. Seeing these brands evolve, it's like, okay, there's an opening now fashion's coming towards us, and I'm a hustler. I'm like, it's not time yet, but I'm gonna get in that.
You're gonna get it.
I'm gonna get in there. I'm just like, all right, so now you're playing in my space. So after coming out of FIT for 10 years, it was just like waiting for the proper moment. And for me, I'm a very spiritual guy, so I'm higher power centered. So I met someone, and I immediately felt like this guy's gonna do something positive for me. He had the license for Pele Pele underwear.
Underwear.
Yeah, underwear. Just underwear because Urban was on fire.
Were they leather?
No, they weren't. Nah, the first what you started seeing was Garmentos go into the space, not knowing the beauty. And this is going to come back to our conversation.
Okay.
Garmentos, and that's code for predominantly Jewish. Garmentos in our fashion space really controlled the market space for the volume business
Absolutely.
in men's. You have your high fashion folks that were, I can speak freely because I'm in the space. I went to FIT, so it was a gay sort of mafia in there because you're like, you can't get into it because I was a straight dude from Newark, and I did want to be, high end fashion. It's just a hard thing to sort of
It's hard to break
figure
into.
Kanye
without
talked
being
about that
without getting hit.
with
And
the
I was very
fashion house.
respectful. So
Yeah.
it's just that space was weird to get into. Well, I was not scared of getting into it. It's just it wasn't square peg in a round hole. So I was like, I couldn't get into that space. So you feel a space of working for a garmental industry that is predominantly Jewish, and that's their space, So they did not understand hip hop at all. And I was like,
What year was this?
this is 1994, 95.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And the space was like, but I'm sitting back as a student saying, oh, these guys don't know much about this space. And I know everything. So it's like, all right, so I have an opportunity. And I met the right person, Lenny from the Lark, Leonard Rothschild, and he had 6-7 stores in Chicago. And he worked with my boss at the time. He went to this thing called Magic, right? This is
Magic Show.
1995.
Convention.
The
Right.
Magic Show in Vegas?
Yeah,
Okay.
Vegas. At the time, I'm styling with photographer Daniel Hastings. It's a good get to for you guys. He's styling everything. He did the first cover of Pun. He did the first cover of Wu-Tang. So we came together and we were working on styling. And I saw the movement growing, and the guy asked, "What do you want in terms of money to do these underwear for me?" And I was like, "No, I don't need nothing from you. Just go out there and make some money." Comes back. So forget this licensing thing. Do your own brand. I made $2 million with what you did. If it's straight, full collection, not just underwear, I can imagine I could probably make $10 million with you. And I'm like, all right, cool. So a lot of my friends were like, why didn't you charge him? I felt the aura and I felt positive. So I was like,
You
we
went
did
off of
everything.
that.
Yeah, I went off of that. And it was primarily for me, I looked at the space again. Now I'm getting an opportunity, and I'm seeing Fubu, I'm seeing Mecca, Shabazz Brothers, Carl Kanai, Tommy Hilfiger. Those last two guys are personalities. So I was like, I'm not going to call my thing anything Latin related, but I'll make it Latin. I want to spin the negative of Escobar being about drugs, make it a positive, but I'm also tapping into the psyche of the hottest rapper at the time, which was Nas.
Okay.
So the marketing
Tactic.
the marketing, which I didn't know I was doing, it's just the marketing tactic was tap in. I have to sell product, even if it's confusing to the consumer, and then I know Nas will come knocking on my door. I did try to reach out to him because I remember I was styling for a lot of folks, just couldn't get my hands on him. And sure enough, when everything started taking off, we did join forces. But I knew slow growth pattern was lost once my partners found out Nas wanted in on it. And I want slow growth. I wanted that LRG growth. I wanted
Right.
that Echo growth.
Echo
I
growth.
wanted
Right.
that growth.
Right.
That organic.
Yeah,
in the streets, yeah.
lock down Latins in hip hop and lock that down, but also be able to speak to other audiences. And once I got with Nas, it was like, guys, once we do this, track record there leads me to believe that may just be a 5-year thing. May just because it's just like I just saw his track record with his artists. There's a lot of tension there, and I was like, I don't want to battle with my spokesperson on anything like this, but I just did what my partners wanted me to do. And for me and Nas, we were working well together. It's just when it comes to finances, he's
Conflicting
driving
visions.
force,
Yeah,
and
right.
and it's not we both had the same vision, but it was. Got to remember, I am a redheaded stepchild under the umbrella of Samsung. Fubu is above me.
Right.
I came in and I figured out a way to get into that space where Damon John could not stop me from getting in the door, being, sort of brought on by Samsung. And that speaks to my street acumen as well. But it was just me. I wanted to do this really bad. I was willing to do anything to get in the space. I know I had talent. So when I got in there, I had to deal with Damon on one side, Damon John on one side. I had to deal with the Fubu guys on one side, and I had to deal with Nas and his crew on the other side. I just want to do fashion, man. I just want to do this really badly. And we did it for a few years. Once I got notarized for, hey, this is a Latin dude doing something in hip hop culture. I was content with that. So whatever happened after that, when it sort of started tanking, it's just we didn't see eye to eye. He didn't see eye to eye with my partners, and there's not much I could do there,
Right.
So of course I'm the target. We have we had our disagreements. We're cool now, but it was at the time it was like there's not much I can do right now. I could put you in a room with my partners and they'll tell you what they want to do. But ultimately, it was decided by all of us, like, should all part ways. And that's what we did.
So was Nas a partnership with Willie Esco?
Yes.
Was it like a 50-50 type
No,
of deal?
he wanted 50-50.
Okay.
But
Sounds
the brand
good.
was up and running, and we, you gotta see my point of view on. This is good information. I am born and raised in hip hop. I did not smoke, did not drink. So going to clubs and partying, that's not me.
Right.
Faking the funk, that's not me. So when you want things done in that light, I'm like, and my principles were like, nah, I'm not with that. I'm not going, that's not me, man. I got to answer to my son when he grows up. So there's not going to be nothing crazy that I'm doing to sort of keep up with the Joneses. So all that happening, there's a lot of competition. And we're talking now, Jay-Z is coming on the scene.
Now you have a lot of powerful people coming out.
Puff's on the scene, Sean John, and Nas wants to keep up.
So when
We
you
need
have
to do this, keep on. Now, in order to keep up means I want more. I'm like, well, you got to talk to them, not me. And we had the conversation, and it just wasn't. It didn't work out. But I did want him. Like, yo,
Right there.
I know. I sat with Damon Dash. Damon Dash wanted me to help him with Rockaware. I'm like, I know Rockaware is coming now. It's like, this real brand is gonna be.
It's gonna
I know
buzz.
Jay's coming. Like, if you
Right.
look at my brand, and it's sort of confusing. Willie Esco is in Streets is Watching. It's 90% of the product in there is Willie Esco.
Right. Right.
So I had a really good relationship with them. Not a good thing when we're going to, Nas is going to war with Jay.
Right.
Right.
So they're looking at me kind of screwy.
Like, oh, you
but
down with this?
Yeah,
Like, what's
well,
going
it's
on?
like I'm cool with them, and then I'm in state property. I did my little cameo on state property. I'm like,
so yeah.
but my whole goal with Nas is like, yo, what he's doing now is beautiful because it took a few extra years. That's all. It's like, yo, you are the best in the game.
True. That's a fact.
I will pimp anyone you want me to pimp to help us move forward. What do you need? Your Ill Will records should be, you should have office space in here. I'll get that for you. So, but there was just confusion, not a level of trust there yet, and we just didn't get there. It's nothing wrong with.
Right.
We just didn't get there, and not. It's very hard to trust people in that business, that music business. So we just didn't get there, and I'm not one to sort of fight to keep a relationship going if it's not working.
That's
Yes,
good. You know when to let go
Yeah.
and start something new.
Yeah, I was very confident in what I'm able to do. The next thing I did after that was, yes, we did Coogee, but I did not want to be the face of any brand. I was like, I don't want to be in this space. I don't want to be looked at. I had a small taste of that fame. I was like,
What year did you start working on Coogee?
That's 03, 04. We bought it out of bankruptcy.
Oh.
And that's after me telling my partners, like, and I have a hot brand. I would say arguably my brand was one of the hottest brands in 1999. I had
No
the market
question.
space,
Yeah.
and knowing that is like, guys, we have Samsung, we have Samsung backing us. Like, we need to do what Google's doing and acquire any threat. The threat is Puff, Sean John, Damon. Do this deal, with Sean John. Your last name is John.
Right.
You should do that deal. Echo needed $7 million or something like that. I was like, you should buy Echo, guys. He's talent. Like, I'm telling them to buy my competition.
That
Good.
you saw
That's
the
how you're
vision of
supposed to do it,
building.
though.
So you can grow our company.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
And I think to this day they respect that point of view. How I'm very selfless. Like, I want everybody around me to do well. So
That's good.
Rockaware's coming. Like, you should do the Dame Dash deal. Like, guys,
Exactly.
they don't know what they're doing. They want me to do it. Let me do it. No. So,
But what was it? What was the fear?
it was machismo. It was like, I don't know how. When I got into the business, it was two brothers, and then Damon John.
Mm-hmm.
Damon John had a deal with one of the brothers. The other brother was in law school and was just getting in the game. So the deal what they had was an exclusive deal. Like, you can't do no other urban brand. One brother, Damon John.
Mm-hmm.
The other brother was like, I don't have that deal. So they signed me to be the Latin version of FUBU. But it's just, you can't do the same thing. You want me to hire? Get Nas? Like, cool, I'll get Nas. But then it's not a Latin thing anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it was difficult. Now there's money involved. I want my money. Don't get me wrong. But I also went into it saying, this is not going to define who I am. I
Right.
think what's going to define me is over the years, like what's going to happen after this. And my thinking was, this is a short period of time. Come out of this. Coogee was coming out of bankruptcy, and I said they wanted me like, yo, do this for us, Will, because they knew how much talent I had. It just wasn't being applied. Like an artist had a label, it was just not being applied.
Right.
So, all right, cool. I'll do that. But I got tired of them telling me no because Damon didn't want to do something or this person saw it as it wasn't going to work. And I respect them because they're, I speak to Damon all the time, like Damon John. And I say, yo, you brought me in. You made it very difficult for me. Like, you made it very difficult, but I'm forever grateful to that cat, because after he got to know me, it's like, oh, you cool. You're all right. And then he let me do my thing. But after
to go
brands
through
are being
an ordeal.
acquired, like, guys, we are losing this battle. You need to buy something. They bought Coogee. But I was already, like, out of here. I'm like, I got the global rights for Tupac Shakur.
Wow.
And so I knew the guy managing the estate, and I say, you know what? I want to hide behind something that I don't have to really. I just want to go to the mailbox and get a check. Design clothes, go to the mailbox, get a check, and fall back into existence. Like,
So
fall
it's-
back.
it
Be
sound
normal.
like you just didn't want any of
I
the
didn't want
limelight.
nothing.
You
No,
just,
no,
like,
I
let
didn't
me
want. I love
my
fashion. I
workspace.
really do love fashion.
Let me get my workspace.
I
let
really
me
do love
design.
fashion.
Let me work. And here, you go
Yeah,
forward with
so
that.
I went and got the global rights for Tupac Shakur, and I just started that. And at the same time, I was talking to 50's camp because 50 was about to come out, and I was like, I need to grab 50. Echo got him, and so I said, let me just grab Tupac, and Tupac is the best. I'm like,
Right.
nobody's gonna question that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna question that. So I was like, he'll be the face. You can't diss him. And I started witnessing that. Like, all right, I got the brand. I'm not gonna call it Tupac Shakur. You just mentioned this in your birthday. I'm gonna call it Machiavelli. So I'm gonna call it something cool. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
It represents Tupac.
And there's a
Machiavelli's
mys-
notorious for
and
7 years
a
later.
mystique with the name
Yeah, it's
too.
mystique.
Yeah.
7 years later, he comes back, and I was launching the brand 7 years later. So I was like, I'm all in on this because I control all of this, and I was able to just sit back and enjoy designing behind the face of Tupac, and I started looking at how I did all that. That was just a lot of things falling in place. So I started understanding, like, I could do more than one brand. Like, I don't have to be just.
Well, let me ask you this: when you started designing for like the Machiavelli brand,
Yeah.
did you sit out and say, "Let me see how Tupac would look wearing something like this"?
Yeah, being very respectful. So
Right.
there was immediately there was a give back component. So we talked about Tupac Amaru Foundation. So portion of proceeds would give back components. Now, mind you, who controlled the estate was all gentleman I'm dealing with controlling the estate was all about money. Like,
Right.
he didn't believe that. Again, it was beautiful because they're like, "What do you want with Tupac?" Like,
So they was happy that you could do
I was
something
like-
with it.
nah, I don't know if I could make you some money, but just let me try it.
Exactly.
I already knew.
Yeah, you knew what it
I
was.
already knew.
I like that a lot. That's really
It's the
dope.
approach is you don't know and that's gonna come back later on. I'm gonna explain to you guys what's happening. You don't know, you have the advantage. The marketplace was so much today artists today, Jay-Z, Eminem, he's alive. They can go and rap to it. Dead rappers, who's gonna do anything with a dead rapper? Like they were like,
That
so
was
you don't
the
understand. He's
gem.
like the Black Elvis.
Right.
Cool. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to give me this much money to
that's a gem.
let you do it. I was like, how much is it? He's like, this much. Oh, that's cool. I could do that. I get that immediately. So we went from like 0 to about 28 million, and like, really what Jay-Z said, we did. Like
Good.
Jay-Z said, when Jay-Z said it in the rhyme 0 to 18 months or 0 to whatever, I actually did it with Tupac, but it was global.
Right.
Um, And that was, that's when I took a breath. I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
right.
That's
'Cause it
good
was
living.
fun.
That's good
It
living.
was
No, it's
fun.
not. It has nothing to do with living. It has everything to do with understanding the marketplace.
And taking the opportunity.
Yeah, and looking
Yeah.
at like what's gonna push me to do the next thing that nobody really can see right now. Like, I feel like I can see around corners sometimes and see like I can see this coming. Let me grab this IP and
Yeah.
sit on it for a year and then develop it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do. That's just what I love to do. That's my thing. Meanwhile, I have my denim brand that I'm just working on. Like, this is my day to day. I spend like a couple hours on that every day.
Got it.
But the other stuff is all maintenance. It's all, what are we doing here? What are we launching this? And I don't have to be worried about my namesake brand anymore. So it's now I can hide behind it. So when we did the Tupac thing, here's the beauty. My marketing director was like, I think we can get Luda and the whole camp, and that was 2 Chainz in there. They said they'd do it for free. I was like, oh, word. So all my ad campaigns were done for free.
That's dope.
He was
Nah.
like, got him.
No, it's more like it's like they
Exactly.
it's proving my point to my backers. Yo, this is who Pac is. They're like,
Right.
oh my, I didn't even know it was
Exactly.
like.
They
this
ain't know
is
the
it."
legacy.
And that's where I was like, okay, all right, this is what it's all about: is beating to the punch investors or retail or anyone that's involved in fashion, trying to beat them to the punch on the creative side. If you do, you control what happens with the brand. You know?
And even that blueprint it applies to any sort
Yeah.
of business, you
Yeah.
know, because you got things. Robbie just showed me today, Harley Davidson
Right.
T-shirt,
Right.
Sold for
$10,000.
$10,300 on eBay.
So
Right. Yeah.
From
yeah,
like 88. Prince's eyes just lit up. So
yeah.
like,
So
he's
you
about
can
digging the
imagine
stash
like
for one.
like kind of like with the Tupac. If you don't see the vision in it, you don't
Right.
see
Yeah.
what the value is.
Right.
You know.
And I love that you're talking about that era because personally, like, I'm the baby of the podcast. I'm the youngest one here, besides Kima. Kima's 23 today. but,
I'm pretty old.
but like those years you're talking about, like 02, 04, were formative for me because I was in like junior high school and I was first going out and shopping on my own. And I mean, I love the Ralph stuff, but that shit
What
was
year were you born?
in 91.
Oh,
Oh,
this
damn.
sweater is
So
94.
I know I got sweaters from 92. So, but my point is like those are my formative years where I'm first going out on my own and shopping on my own
Yeah.
and getting mine right
Experience.
and being in the malls and seeing everything and hitting random stores and like all these brands that were born out of hip hop. You know, we're all over the place. Like even like in Macy's, all the department stores, Tommy, Ralph, all that stuff was there, but like the Sean John section, the Rockaware, the Fat Farms, like all these brands we're
Outkast.
talking about,
Oh, yeah.
the Machiavelli,
Shady.
like all these brands are there, and they're a large percentage of the men's section of these department
Yeah,
stores.
it was a
Absolutely.
big part,
They-
big
and
part.
Huge.
now the way things are set up, and those brands were like cool as fuck to me. Like at that age, like that was like stuff I was looking for.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I
'Cause
wa-
it was
I-
hip hop.
It was super hip hop, and now there's when I see the kids, they're all they got their little extra small Bape hoodies and little Supreme joints, and I asked a similar question to April about this. Is there space now for brands that are born out of hip hop when there's so much clout chasing and so much just hype beasting? And I'm not trying to knock those brands, but it just seems like there's so much of just, like people aren't trying to get their own style off. They're doing a lot of what they see on the Instagram Explore
Yeah,
page.
yeah,
And
yeah.
putting
You
their
know,
faces
so-
on it.
So
Yeah.
so when you have, I mean, like I'm trying to think of these young rappers. Like I don't see them as entrepreneurs branching out and doing their own clothing lines. I haven't seen that happen with any of these new rappers. I see
No,
Yachty
no,
with
it's a cycle.
Nautica,
Cycle. Yeah.
but do you think there's going to be space for artists to get into that?
Well, I call it mumble rap fashion, right? So it's like these guys are doing it sort of coexists with. There's a cycle. It's in fashion. There's cycles. You go into Americana cycle. That's why Ralph's doing his thing right now.
Right.
And just before that, we did our low life thing, which sort of sparked everything, which is a beautiful thing to see.
Definitely.
It was like that was like a beautiful and I'm beautiful because I'm trying to talk Thurston into like, yo, this Americana movement. Forget about footwear. This moment you're gonna have, my man. Like I want to help you be ready for that. Like, and I think he's experiencing that right now for himself. Like this is really good as a fellow Latino, and I'm like, and it's hard to get people to sort of see like, are you running game on me? Like, no, I'm not running game, dude. I think that the culture
Because
is
it's surreal. Like it's like
yeah, it is. It
Running
is.
game on
But
me.
there's certain the noise that you see. If it's not genuine, it won't last.
Right.
Cool, right? But it's cyclical in the sense where it's back to designers. And I say that because what we witness is sort of, to me, it's like singularity with, in fashion, it's Louis Vuitton Supreme, right? And you got singularity with fashion. It's like Virgil going in and
Into
doing what
Louis
he did.
Vuitton.
Like and that started with Pyrex. Like that's like,
Yeah.
that's the epitome of hustle. Like that's
Yeah.
what we know. We know the game. And he has like a mat on his, like, I think he got a Louis Vuitton mat. I saw him post up. He's like, might be true that I started this with some Pyrex and something, I'm not going to say, but it's in quotations. Like, so I think it's disposable. It's cool for the moment. I know it's in a space and time, so I can identify brands that are going to live past that if they do the right business things, if they make the right business decisions,
And those don't happen unless Trouble Andrew does the Gucci, because that really set off. That got Louis Vuitton's attention when Trouble Andrew was doing all the Gucci Ghost and all the
Yeah.
bootleg
I remember
Gucci. brought
I
him
was
in.
introduced to that gentleman doing that as well, and it just now this is where I want to bring it all back, and so we can have a conversation about it. So when garmentos now are luxury, they don't know. Why does Virgil have all these followers? Like, how come these guys have more followers than Louis Vuitton? Gucci? Like, they don't know social media. So let's throw money at it. We'll throw money at it. Let's get this guy. Let's get this. It's beautiful for us because now once we get in the perimeter of anything, it's never the same. Music, we're in the perimeter. Fashion, we're in the perimeter. It's not going to be the same.
Never.
They made a big mistake to me. Now, it will be, to me, Virgil's like Obama in fashion. It's a beautiful thing. But they'll, trust me, insiders will be like, all right, we got all his metrics. We got all his connections. All right, let's go back to real fashion. Get him out. And that's what's going to happen. Like, it's
Yeah.
going to happen it's a sleight of hand. But I enjoy the moment. Like, the moment is like, but they don't understand, like, he's in the perimeter. Like, it's Thanos. It's like he snapped the finger. He's good now. Like, it's beautiful. Like, I see something that's like, wow, like, this is a great thing that emanated from a brand like Patrick Kelly or Byron Lars, who started doing their things in the '80s. So now we're at that point, and all the cream will rise to the top, no matter what. This is going to rise to the top.
Definitely.
So you telling me? So you think Virgil is momentary? You don't see him maybe eventually?
No, for I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the luxury houses, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. Once they learn what the game is,
Yeah, then they just
That's
they,
it.
They'll
they-
do it on
good,
their
like-
own. Yeah.
all right, we move on from you. Virgil is good. Like and I saw Kanye. I seen Tisa. I seen that crew. That picture in Paris.
Yeah.
When
Shout
they
out
did the
to
Pyrex
Taz.
thing, like Taz is my man.
I love Taz.
That's the first round of infiltrate. They got they made it
Yeah.
past the back. Like
No doubt.
I'm
'Cause
witnessing
I know
this. Like,
Kanye mad right now,
no, I wouldn't
No,
say he's
he
mad. I
actually
think
spoke on it
yeah,
in an interview about Virgil.
and I got a vibe that he was mad.
no, I mean the saltiness, yeah,
Yeah.
but the hustle is one. As long as one guy gets to the perimeter, that sets up generations on fashion. That's all. That's where I see it. Like I may not be making the money Virgil's making, but my contribution is so that now Virgil in 15, 20 years won't be making what the next man's gonna be
That's
making.
true.
It's just the way it
Exactly.
is. It's just
Yeah.
we're stuck in the moment in time. It will rise to the top. Like you mentioned all these brands. You said 02, 04. Like I just had a conversation with my brothers at PNB. It's like, you guys really were like cold source for Supreme.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, Nick Cannon took it, but it wasn't right. I was like, we should look at that again. Like you guys, Union and PNB, what formulated what my desire was to have a brand. So it's been a long way coming, and Supreme never sold out. Virgil pimped the game, so it's two different things happening, but that's beauty, and I embrace it because it allows. Now streetwear is hot, so my phone is ringing because I have connections. Like Low Life thing was the prime example of that. Like trying to get investors for Low Life was very hard. It's like, tell me why they won't just buy Polo.
yeah, wait.
Do you think from the Low Life thing when they came out with the Low Life brand, do you think Ralph saw that and said, let me relaunch these
Hell
things
yeah.
so they
Hell
can,
yeah.
like,
Me-
not make money? Like, I'm gonna cut your
Yeah.
supply off real quick before you even get started.
No, I don't think. I don't begrudge that. That's part of the game.
Right.
What I look back in the series of events that happened leading up to that. So let's just say, 2 years prior, 3 years prior, I'm starting this. I start talking to low heads. I'm not a low life. I'm not a low head. I
Right.
love fashion.
Right.
Right. So during that era, I'm more on Italy. I'm on more
Right.
on Germany. I'm Dirk Beckenbergs. I'm
Yeah.
Armani, like brands you ain't hear before. And I'm on that in FIT. So Low Lives were American street culture,
America.
head to toe, teaching the kid wear the brand from head to toe.
And
if you
style
don't-
it your way.
Yeah, style it your way. Wear baggy. And I said, wow, that is beautiful unto itself because they took something from the fashion industry and they made it their own. And they kept doing it year after year after year. I'm like, yo, they don't care what the trend is. They're like, I'm this. You know what I mean? And over maybe the last 7-8 years, I was like, let me find out who's involved in this because and I started seeing chapters in Australia, Puerto Rico, this,
Right.
Italy.
Right.
Canada.
Like, who is these people? I'm a Low Life.
Yeah, and it's like,
That's what.
do you know how
that's
much
my
power
background.
that culture has? Let me help them see how powerful they are. I have a little bit of I've spoken on it on Instagram, but I have a little bit of issue because I'm like, you have your own now. You guys have your own brand. Like, let's figure out how to make that powerful. Because they saw it. They're like, and I speak to the guys. I spoke to Prance. I was like, did you have a small window before you wake the gods up?
Machine
And the
come
God,
on,
the
yeah.
God is shut. The God is shut the gate.
real quick. Let me just interject. When Willie says the machine already had 20 pictures of Low Life brand and all that stuff, and they were already plotting. I saw that firsthand. So just to let you know, yes,
Yeah.
Low Life brand did.
But
All this retro stuff you see.
but I had no issue with that because again, I'm behind the curtain and I'm saying, guys, this is what's gonna happen next. This is next in the story. This is what's gonna happen. They're gonna do, but don't get upset. Like
Capture that
your
moment.
This is what
audience
it
is
is.
your audience.
Right.
They gonna want to tap into that movement. Like they still probably don't understand
No, they don't.
that.
We're still
Right?
teaching them.
They
and
think they could
learning.
copy paste. It's like, nah, that's not, guys. That's not it. That's not it.
Mhm.
The minute they unite, it's gonna be like when it's like. So, I will tell you this: like I was approached by my man at Mass Appeal. He's like, we want to do this documentary called Fresh Dress, and I was like, cool. Like, let me enlighten you on what happened there. It's like, cool. You should talk to Thurston too. Like, you guys should talk to. And I hadn't done a deal with Thurston yet. I'm like, but I'm already projecting. I'm gonna do the deal with Thurston.
Right.
I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. And he didn't know me that well, but he heard of me.
Right.
And so Mass Appeal had just been purchased by Nas. So my man, I forgot his name, Sasha sits with me, and I'm like, you know, me and Nas is not really cool, right? He's like, no, this won't have nothing to do with it. I was like, oh, because all I want to talk about is fashion. And he's like, you think it, I don't want to waste your tape if it's going to get cut out either. You don't have to interview me. I'll get you Damon, because I'm in the same building as Damon John. I'm like, I'll get you people. You should do Thurston. But he interviewed me, and the funny thing was, I had started talking to Thurston. I did this interview, and in my interview, part of the interview is like, this all goes back to Dapper Dan. They're like, wait a minute, what you just say? This all goes back to Dap. Dap was the guy. It was now they said, stop the tape, run that back, say that again, say that whole thing again. I was like, well, for me, it all went back to Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan told me how to flip luxury brands and make some money off of it. Now, I wasn't doing it at the time. I just said, that is dope, what he's doing. Like, he's making it our own. What Dap is doing, making it our own. Also, the Mitch Green fight and all that thing happened. We talked about that. But that pushed them to put up on Fresh Dress the image that was knocked off by Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
That caused so much
That's
uproar,
Yeah.
right?
On
They brought
social
him
media.
On social media,
Right.
that they got him. All right, we got to sign you up.
Yeah.
What is it's proof right there. They want to calm the masses down. Let's pay him some money. He'll go away.
Yep.
My point
I
is,
see where you're
please,
going.
please,
I see where you're
Dap,
going.
pimp them
Yeah.
out and forget about Gucci. We in the perimeter now. Dap is the guy. Let's raise him up
Up.
to standards that he deserves to be at, because he's only going to cater to us. He's not going to cater to a public market or your shares. That's the guy we should be like, all right, cool, thank you.
We should
But
celebrate
what's-
that moment,
you
but
have
then,
to.
But then you have to Dapper Dan has to be the fashion house afterwards.
Correct. That's
Once-
what I
once that-
believe
yeah.
should happen. But it's just I only.
We'll
The
see
great
where it
thing is
goes.
social media. You can voice that opinion, and just like Dap got the gig with Gucci,
Yeah.
it can take fire, take hold, because you're putting it out there. Like,
Side note, shout out to that interview magazine spread they just did with Dapper Dan.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was dope.
super
That was
dope.
dope.
Super
I
dope
haven't
shoot.
seen it
But
yet.
even with what you said, Esco, do you think the masses now, based on what you say, understand that concept?
no. I mean,
You
Fresh
know?
Dress is a documentary, and it ends sadly. Like, it's a sad story. If you really look at the beginning to end, it's cool. Yeah, whoa. But I'm like, and then they end with, but the new rappers today, they just want Louis Vuitton, Gucci,
Yes.
boom, boom. Okay, now you're in. Now they accepting you because of this documentary. Like, they
Exactly.
accepting you.
They
You
see
don't
your
need them.
value.
You don't need that. Go. And you know what that does in fashion? That builds generational wealth for all. Like, if we start just respecting our own input into these brands, and it has to be systematic in a way, but it has to be pure. Like, you guys, you can't let that new generation say, I just want to wear Gucci. No, you have to they got to carry some of that guilt. You can't, listen, guys, fashion is a whole new thing. Like, we need to build wealth within generational wealth in here.
Is that what you think when Kanye was like on Sway and he was like, you don't understand, Sway, I spent X amount of money? It was like he was trying to break in to those fashion houses to kind of back his ideas, when all the while I'm like,
You
Kanye,
have it.
why do you need these people?
You don't need
You
them.
set the
You
bar,
want-
and you're saying that right now.
Yeah, you
set
you
the
want
bar.
to. It's you put up a velvet rope in the club. What's it behind that velvet?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing
Yeah.
behind that
Nothing.
velvet rope. Like
Nothing there.
VIP or
Status.
not VIP. You just over there. Oh, that guy's behind
Yeah.
that velvet rope. Like that means nothing to me. Like the velvet rope. If I like to enjoy to go to a club and see the space, I'll go to the club when it's nothing there and see the space. It's nothing.
Nothing
Like a day ago, everybody was wanting to be in that little square footage. I'm
Right.
like, that's that blows my mind sometimes. Like that desire to want to be
Accepted.
seen and accepted.
What did you think about his clothing line when it dropped?
I loved it. I think
You
I
did?
think
The Matrix.
I think he was with Kanye. The he's influenced, right? So he's not superhuman. He gets
Mm-hmm. Right.
he gets like he gets influenced.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved to L.A. and look at how he started dressing. When he was in Chicago, he was a low head.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
When he moved to L.A.
We got into
You
that
got into this whole garb.
goth.
And
Yeah,
there is a
this
space for that.
grunge.
There's a space for that. Like you did that. Fear of God comes out. Virgil does his thing. There's a bunch of spin-off brands that are also contributing to the culture, which
Right.
is cool. You just got to evolve. Like Virgil, you need retail. Jerry, you need retail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long the internet will sustain a brand, but you need some brick and mortar to sort of become a luxury, legacy brand like
You
that.
need Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
be there.
And you don't need the acceptance of Fifth Avenue, but you need
just
to
need to
see
put
how
yourself there.
Yeah, look at
Physicality,
how
yeah.
what Gucci. I mean, Louis Vuitton was just a bag company.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like you're a bag company. Okay,
Yeah.
you cool now, but I look back at the very beginning. That man didn't know what he was doing. He just doing he just
He's
making
just doing
a
bad.
living. Like
Right.
we're in the same. Just accept that we're in that space, and you're doing it for the next 30, 40 years for those guys to be standing on something that's meaningful for our culture.
Right.
Build a foundation.
Yeah,
But-
low lives are the same thing. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Polo, we took it from Polo. They taking it back. You have every right to do that. But Thurston and I started getting closer after the documentary. He said, "Yo, I'm in a documentary." I was like, "Yeah, I know you. I heard about that. I didn't tell him I was in it, but we're in documentaries. Like, it's gonna talk about low lives." I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Plug that." I want you to plug that because in that documentary, they talk about me, they talk about Damon, they show Tupac stuff. So I'm in there in ways that people don't comprehend. So full circle is just like now I'm working with Coogee, and Coogee has the same thing. Like, is Biggie forever attached to that thing?
Yeah.
But you see, something just came to my thought, right? And I said something to you about this new wave I feel is about to come. Is this whole modern vintage era,
Yeah.
right? Now, as ones and ones here, do you feel like with these new brands I don't feel these new brands are doing too well, because I feel like a lot of the old stuff are coming back and people are actually kind of gravitating to the old, because I feel the creative world now is stuck. So they're resorting back to the old
That's what happens,
style.
yeah.
So
Tried and true.
so from what I'm taking is this like the opportunity, let's just say a common person like us, is that a way to invest in these companies ourselves, to be shareholders in maybe some of these old companies you
Yeah,
want
this-
to bring back up?
It's tricky. If we're creatives, you can easily.
Mhm.
The beauty of being creative right now is you have the history of probably everybody in here got over like 150 years of knowledge on hip hop and street culture. So it's a unique space, right? So Wild Wild West on social media. So you could launch something tomorrow and it could be making tens of millions of dollars next week
Right.
if you do it right.
Right.
So knowledge is key again. Back to the beginning, like you don't know. Oh, okay. So brands today, I'm working with Coogee. I brought a brand called Jaclar from 1975. The beauty about that is, I worked on Etonic. I was talking to my man, and we were working on Etonic, and I just saw that they were not doing it right, and I was like, "But I'm gonna work on Coogee at the same time, guys, if you don't mind." Like, cool. So Etonic didn't really. It was coming in on the last phase of retro, so I just said, you know what? The concept of buying a retro running or footwear brand is cool. how I do that for myself, knowing I love footwear. Before sneakerheads, before Jordan took off from the foul line.
Thank you.
I was a sneakerhead. I was a sneakerhead. So much so that I'm wearing joints right now that people say, I don't remember those. I'm like, that means you're not a real
Wasn't a real
sneakerhead.
sneakerhead.
So I'm going back to the 80s, and I just do my research. It's just taking time out to, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm watching 30 for 30, and I see Calipari, and he's got one of these T-shirts on, and Jaclar sponsored 5-star basketball camp, and I start doing my research, and I'm like, I think that's a brand I could not get that's the shoe I could not get my hands on. I play ball, so I went to St. Benedict's Prep. It wasn't the same Benedict's Prep that's now. Okay, I played ball,
That's
but
a powerhouse
yeah,
now.
soccer was just starting, but I played ball, and I would go into certain areas of the state. I'd go up to Patterson. I see kids wearing it. And I go up to Baltimore. I see people wearing it. So I couldn't get. It was not sold at my retail chains in Newark. I just didn't know where to get it. So I was like, damn, this is like, it's one of those pieces you want. We collect clothes here. Like, this is one piece I wanted to get. And I was like, damn. And then I did the research, and I was like, nah, this is cool. So then I found the brand, and trying to revive it, and noticed that Muggsy Bogues and Muggsy and the best high school team in America,
All had them.
all time, all wore it. So this heritage there. Again, my message is to the youth: you putting money in Nike's pockets, Puma, German, Adidas, German. I'm trying to do something grassroots. You can't replicate history. You can't go back in time and put the product there, but this has that.
Right.
One of the problems Under Armour has, there's no heritage. It's all new.
Yeah.
It's going to be heritage in a couple of years, but Under Armour's problem is that it doesn't resonate because there's no authenticity. You can't go pull up a picture of Jordan going off on the foul line.
Right.
Well, guess what? This shoe.
Now they got Curry. That's their
Yeah, they got that. But now this shoe was
Curry ain't Mike.
sponsored between 1975 and 1986. The best basketball camp in America. I'm talking about Worthy. I'm talking about everybody went to this camp, and they had to put on this shirt.
Yep.
Okay, so heritage is there. Be counterintuitive and find something in retro, invest in instead of the tech right now that Kanye's doing. And I decided this is what I want to do right now. Some of my days going to be spent on developing this brand. And I started discovery on that, where the self gratification, finding the shoe on eBay, getting this, talking to this person. Oh, this is what it meant. Like, that discovery is like, no one's going to know the beauty of that except for myself. And that's what I'm doing. So that brand, that's one other brand I'm working on. And the other brand is Patrick Kelly. Patrick Kelly was born in Mississippi, first black man to be accepted. This is cool. Into the Paris Syndicate of Fashion. That's what Kanye wanted. Right? Wanted to be accepted. He was accepted. His brand went from 0 to about 7-8 million at the time before he passed away from AIDS. But he is doing his thing while I'm at FIT. Everything has relative to my experience. Like, I love footwear. I love fashion. This footwear brand, I couldn't get my hand on this footwear. Now I got a chance to revive that. Patrick Kelly, that's luxury. That's you can't. You research on that cat, you'll see he is why I made money. Damon John made money. Puff made money. Anybody that's minority in fashion made money because of that man. Before cross colors, like, okay, cross colors is cool. We're talking about before that. In those circles. So he's Basquiat of fashion to me. Like, he's running with those circles. So we're in the process of relaunching that. So I can do multiple things. I can be hip-hop one day. I could work on some luxury shit the next day.
Right.
And you don't know what's going to happen. His beauty is now my day's full of working on some art and denim, working on some footwear.
Penciling a little low lives in there, all right?
Yeah, low lives as well. Like, low lives is we're in the process of my relationship with Thurston, and Thurston knows, like, I have to build trust with Thirst. Like, you have to build trust with low. it's love and loyalty,
True
right?
indeed.
That's a
I
fact.
love
Two Wells.
clothes, and I'm loyal to my friends. I have to build a friendship for that to
So
work.
you're gonna be doing new designs. And
Yeah, we're
like,
rolling out some new stuff.
taking away like all the other stuff. And
Yeah.
just working on something really
I'm
new.
I'm
and
actively
exciting.
like before it was the same situation. Willie Esco, like Thirst, I have this thing I want you to get down with, and after a while he got involved,
Mhm.
right? But still, you have to go through the process of like I'm not gonna slap a Willie Esco label on it, my man. This is yours. I have nothing to
Right.
do with it. It's empowerment for
Right.
us, And this is a big one. Like we're talking footwear. I have something to David and Goliath, right? We're talking luxury. I have a David and Goliath there with Patrick Kelly. And in regular sportswear, Americana, Low Lives is to me that's you guys can go up against the best, and we just have to send the right message out. So reprogramming, like it's cool, like all right, the complex thing that all generated from us, like
That's true.
Definitely.
that generated. I just wanted you guys to promote Low Life, and it ended up being like took 2 years to do that piece.
Right.
Like I'm very I get a lot of gratitude out of that. Like
Mhm.
it's like I don't need the world to know, but
Right.
platforms like this allowed me to speak that. But
Right.
now it's like that low movement, it ain't never gonna go away. It's like Coogee, Biggie, Tupac. This low thing, I will keep preaching. You guys look within. The brand is self-sustainable from within. We don't gotta see what Low Polo's doing anymore. Like,
Absolutely.
y'all good
I
now.
say
Y'all
that
good
all
now.
the time.
Absolutely.
I mean,
say
because
that
think
all
about
the
it.
time.
Polo was trying to see what you guys were doing.
Yeah,
You
and
know
that,
what
but
I'm saying?
that's the epitome of urban streetwear. You were
you know?
grabbing something, and the funny thing is that with streetwear, the last wave, and I say that now is we adapt, right? The last wave, you can identify who you were by what you wore.
That's
from
a fact.
from a music perspective to
Where you
lifestyle.
from?
You were wearing baggy, all right? So you a thug,
Mhm.
baggy. You were in a baggy Sean John, so you like Puff. Are you baggy Rough Rider? You like DMX in that
X.
camp. So it became hammering down. You wearing this? You like Vocal? Oh man, you reaching. You wearing baggy Nelly product. But it's still that's the nature of making money. So the Garmentos figured out, I got it. I don't need you guys no more.
More.
And it collapsed on itself. Don't do the same mistake. Now, do not give them the source code, information. I trust Virgil; he'll protect that. I sat with Virgil one time, and I was like, and it's with other folks, very guarded individual. I was like, he know what he's doing. Got to protect it now because now you can't identify who's hip hop, who's not, because it's not a fit no more. It's not a baggy shirt.
Yeah.
And what are they trying to do? Let's make it all baggy again because you can identify. Let's be able to identify the guys that are into the streetwear shit. Bring it back to baggy, and like be careful of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. Like if Jerry, if if you're a guy, you don't have to follow a trend. Stay to who you are. Virgil will do his thing. Don C will do his thing, but we have some. We don't have to look. We don't have to go outside the velvet rope. We right here.
Yeah.
We are right here, and
Yeah, we all could dictate what fashion is.
It
you know?
really could. I was
talk.
like,
That's the plan.
Because even amongst us, I always say when one see the crew, we all have our own individuality, and it's still hip hop. It's still culture.
Yeah.
We just all use what we have and make it our own.
it's the finance. It's just the financial component. Once we become financially secure and being able to, seed and build our own brands from within, then we'll be fine. But it's just a process.
Yeah, because 90% of these companies anyway, they don't know what the fuck is going on anyway.
No.
So they're like on the Instagram.
They're gonna hire you.
And on the
Yeah, you can make money.
Yeah, and they're on the
but-
social medias and they're just watching and looking at stuff that we are putting out there. And like we're not getting paid for it, but they're just looking. It's like
They're just
they're
monitoring.
like, yo, okay, that's what's coming out. Okay, let's get that.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people do it. It's just like
Or they just look at what we pull out of our closets that we had like 10, 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's happening. I mean,
And they try to revamp and make it, but the quality and everything is not really the same.
Yep.
Can't really find the same cottons and wools or whatever
that's
you need to
evolved.
make those knits.
True.
You
true.
know?
True.
Yeah, but it's for stuff like that. What'd you say, Robbie?
Oh,
you trying to
Now we got rap soon. I think we're over time. So
Okay.
already?
I
This
think
is
I
good
think we need a part 2.
conversation.
I think we need
we
a
need
part
a
2.
Oh, we
Part
definitely
two.
need a
We
part
need a
two.
part 2, 3, and 4 maybe.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
this
is
was
like a little short documentary.
Okay, so
Because I didn't
Okay,
get a
so-
chance to get into my denim
that
conversation.
denim-
denim talk's gonna be a whole nother
okay,
episode.
so
right
that-
there.
that'll be for
another-
part 2. So Willie, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, I'm at Willie_Esco. Brands that I'm messing with right now are I'm working with Angela Simmons on a brand called Bonnie Boucher. I'm working on Jaclar Athletics. That's all Instagram handles. Let's see. I'm working on a skateboard brand. I'm not really gonna say anything yet.
Okay.
Of course, Coogee brand. We're doing some things other than sweaters coming soon. And of course, I'm working with Thurston on Low.
Already.
I'm working on that. Every day and trying to get that rhythm, so that I think now we have to look past replicating. We have to do our own thing.
Absolutely.
And I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you we should not replicate anymore. Because then they're going to be like, oh, you're taking the power away from them.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Kima, where can they find you?
Crayola_Falana. IG.
Robbie.
Robbie Fingers, ROBBIEFINGERS, Twitter and Instagram.
Prance.
Prance Low, 24/7, IG. You already know. Find me on Church Ave.
the Flatbush Corner. Stilo.
STELO 1009. Enjoy the day. Good day. Love, peace, happiness.
Yes, thank you guys. Another episode down. This is Polo Parata. You can find me on Instagram, Polo Parata.
Don't find him.
Do not find me. I have enough followers. We'll be back next week. This has been there. Rock That, episode 10. Ciao.
Ciao.
Peace.
Conversation with style.
Awesome.
No, you're getting there. You're getting there.
Damn, I didn't get into the denim.
No.
What's our time?
Brazilian.
Oh, Brazilian.
What's our time, Chris?
Well, you're